make sure you check out my website, pcteach.me, where you can look at all the videos in particular category orders. Also have the ability to contribute your own posts if you wish, and I hope to see you there. This is a prerequisites video for all the analysis services training courses that you'll be following from PC Teach Me. We're not going to be talking anything specific about any particular technology here or any sort of function or wonderful whizzy feature. This is all about just getting the databases ready for the remainder of the training course. So if you've jumped into video 5 and you're wondering what the heck we're talking about, the reason being is probably because you need to actually install the databases, which I'm going to go through on this video. So the first thing is that we need to get them installed. I've started up SQL Server here, and you can see that there are only my report servers present. I haven't actually got any Adventureworks databases. Now, just a little bit of information about Adventureworks. In SQL Server 2000 and 2005, they actually had the sample databases actually part of the installation CDs. However, they decided in their infinite wisdom to actually remove them. So the only place you can get them now is from a website called Codeplex. So I'm going to take you there and just show you how to actually install the databases that you require. One of the reasons why it's all been put in this one place, because it's a central repository, so the same database is applicable for SQL Server 2005, 2008, 2008 R2, and very shortly SQL 2012. So the same database for the different editions and versions will be there. Now, another caveat just to make you aware is that depending on how your computer is set up, you may have problems with the installation. So I would strongly recommend you read the frequently asked questions and the install problem. It's become such a big problem for people to install this database that there's actually an entire section on Codeplex about it. So I'd recommend you look at there first before contacting myself or anyone else to see if you can actually solve the problem before having to wait a while for an answer. So where do we go? Well, what we'll do is we'll just go to the Codeplex site. On screen at the moment in very big text should be the actual web address, so I won't re-announce it. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm just on box standard SQL Server 2008, so I'm going to go to this fourth one down. However, you may be wanting to go to some of the other versions and editions of SQL Server. So I'm going to just go and click on to SQL Server 2008. And once it comes up, it asks me which one do I want to download. So there is a zip file only, which is not an executable, i.e. that means you have to run it via script and do lots of detaching and attaching of databases. I'm going to go for the executable, so I'm just going to click on that. It just says, are you sure? I will then say agree. And all being well, it should come up asking me to save the file, so I'm going to save it to a particular folder which I've created. Whilst I'm waiting for it to actually download, because I haven't got the fastest of internet connections, if I just scroll down slightly just to point out, as you can see, one of the big bold statements we've got here is if you're having difficulties with the current installer, please see the database helper. So I'd click on that and just go through it if you have any particular problems. So what's going to happen is we're going to install this database, and this will allow us to do all of our analysis services cubes, a little bit of integration services if necessary, and also reporting services. So it's a good database to have. It is a little bit overwhelming for a newbie. There's quite a lot going on, but I will explain as we go through each section of the course what we are trying to actually achieve. So the first thing obviously is to get the thing installed, so all being well, in 7 seconds I should be there. Okay, so I'm going to run it, and all being well, this will then start up our installer. You can see it's doing a lot of unzipping. There's lots of CSV files, so what actually happens is rather than it being a proper database, it actually uses integration services scripts to actually create the database. Now, if you're not familiar with integration services, there are plenty of videos on PC Teach Me which will actually discuss integration services, basically give you a heads up as to what it's actually going to do. So all being well, when it decides to wake up, so here we are, we've actually got the EULA come up, so I'm just going to accept it and choose next, and then all being well it should do most of its magic automatically. But as I say, if you do have any particular problems, then please refer back to the Coplex website, where it will actually discuss the step-by-steps of doing it. So what have we got in here? Well, we've got a series of different databases that we can have, so we're just going to go through these just to explain what they are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start up at the top. Now OLTP is one of the terminologies that we're going to come across pretty early on, but basically that is the standard Adventureworks database. If you've been using it for standard reporting and so forth, excluding analysis services, OLTP is the standard transactional database that we've got. Then we've actually got the Data Warehouse 2008, which is basically the derived version, the finished article of a cube warehouse ready for us to actually build our cubes off. And then what we've got is we've got these different databases for different editions of SQL Server. Now the reason why they are here and why it really muddies the water a bit is because different versions, or sorry, let me rephrase, different editions of SQL Server have different options. For example, Enterprise has a host of other features for data mining and so forth, which the standard edition does not have. Therefore, what they've done is they've excluded certain data attributes from the standard edition because it's not relevant for Enterprise and vice versa. So you can actually choose which ones you want. So because I've got standard edition, what it's pretty much doing is it doesn't know which one to actually install, so we can do them manually afterwards. However, by and large, as long as we've got the Data Warehouse one, I'm happy. The LT one is the light edition of it, so if you're on a smaller edition of a computer, and we've then actually got the OLTP versions, which are pre-2008. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave all of them switched on, and then that allows me just to basically have the best choice. We do have a drop-down box at the top. Don't know what it does. It only has default in it, so all I'm going to do is click on install. So what it's doing now, as you can see, it's copying scripts and data files. So what it's doing is it's not actually sort of attaching a database. What it's doing is it's constructing the database from scratch. So it's going to be creating the SQL scripts. It's then going to be using integration services to actually import the data from CSV into SQL database tables. So depending on your processing power and grunt of your machine generally, this may take a while. So I'm going to pause the video until the actual process is done. So what seemed like about 2-3 minutes have now actually complete. The install is done. If you wanted to just check, you can click on show details, and so that gives you the actual log file and just shows you everything that's been done. And as I was saying, can you see how it's actually creating the extended procedures properties? If I whiz up to the top, you'll see it's going to create tables, data types, all sorts of things. So basically all it's doing is it's creating the database from script form. So what you can do is with this extracted is you can actually look at how the scripts are actually used to create the tables, and then it populates it via integration services, and at the end of it we're done. So I'm just going to click on finish. So what we should have now, if I now jump into Management Studio, is if I just hit refresh, all being well, I should actually start seeing some more databases. So there we go, we've actually got Adventureworks, we've got Adventureworks DW, we've got Adventureworks DW 2008. I'm not interested in LT and LT 2008, they're the sort of like the light editions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be focusing on these three. Probably these two, the Data Warehouse for 2008 and Adventureworks. So to recap, what we've done is we've gone onto the Coplex website, which allows us to actually download the correct version of Adventureworks for the edition and version of SQL Server that you are using. If at any point you feel that there is a particular problem, what you would do is you would actually go to the database installer help. Generally, the most common problem will be things like your service pack is out of date, so therefore the version of database you're trying to install is not applicable. For example, as you can see over here, someone's actually put in something quite derogatory there. It's probably more likely the fact that it's a situation of actually trying to get the right version of, or right service pack of your database with the installer. So with that, once we've got them installed, we can then move on to our first particular module, which will be all about just the generic schema of things, and also talking about star schemas and snowflakes. So thanks for watching this. It's a necessary evil to actually get onto the good stuff, so I hope to see you on the next video.